Hey, it's Mr. Like again. I want to talk about dropping this basketball and all the different science that goes into dropping the tennis ball on top of the basketball. We've learned a lot of science about energy, momentum, collisions. I'll bet we can explain how this thing works. So let's first talk about the basketball and the tennis ball when they're up high. As I'm putting it up here, this has a type of energy. You guys know what type of energy that is now. We say that it has a height off of the ground. We call that potential energy. When I drop the balls, that potential energy turns into motion. Gravity actually does work on it, pulls it down, it makes it go fast. We call that type of energy kinetic energy. So it has potential up here, and it has kinetic right before it hits the ground, right before it makes the collision with the tennis ball and the ground. So let's talk about moving in the collision. When we talk about collisions, a lot of times we look at something called momentum, right? So this ball, now that it has motion, has momentum. The tennis ball also has momentum. They get pushed by the ground, which takes that momentum and pushes it forward. So now they both have momentum going up. So if I drop the basketball normally, it's going to come back to about my waist. But if I drop it with this tennis ball, the momentum that it has off the ground goes in two directions, doesn't it? It goes into two things. It goes in the momentum of the ball, the basketball, and the momentum of the tennis ball. So why does the tennis ball fly really high? Well, think about the mass of these two things. The mass of the tennis ball is really small, which means the velocity or the speed of the tennis ball after the collision is going to be really big. Quick experiment you can do is if I drop this ball from here, my shoulders, it's going to come back up to about my waist. But if I drop it from my shoulder with the tennis ball, it doesn't go nearly as high. Where did that extra momentum go? Well, it went into the tennis ball, right? And since the tennis ball has a much smaller mass, it has a much bigger velocity, and that's why it went flying up. You guys know a ton about energy, potential, kinetic energy, momentum, collisions. Today we're going to see if you can't apply that to the car going down the ramp and looking at different variables that you can change to make the cars go different distances. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
All right, you guys are doing awesome. It's challenge day today. So we get to come up with our own experiment, trying all kinds of crazy things with these cars. So here's some things that I thought that might be cool. What if, instead of smashing this car into this car, I did it the other way around? How does that affect things? Can you make a claim about if a heavier car or a different car strikes a lighter one? Ooh, if we're talking about heavy and light, we could change the mass of one of these cars. I could put some pennies on the purple car and have it hit. How does that affect how they move at the end? That would be a great challenge to look at too. Or, get crazy with it, add another track. What happens if I have both cars hit each other in the middle? Right? Both cars are moving. You may have to have a parent help you drop both cars. But if they're dropped from the same height, can you figure out what direction they're going to move? That would be cool. What if one car is heavier than the other? What if one car is lighter than the other? Can we come up with a way to determine and make a claim about how that works? Oh, what about bumpers? I got some rubber bands here. Maybe I could put some rubber bands or something on the back or around this car so that it makes kind of a bumper, or even a rubber band on both of them. Or a cotton ball or something I can put on the back. How would that affect the collision between these two? There's all kinds of different challenges that you can come up with. I've got more books. I can make ramps higher. I can make bumpers, and I can make different masses of cars. I got all kinds of great things that I could try here. I don't know what I want to do. You try to figure out what you want to do based on some of those questions we had at the beginning. What's a experiment that you want to set up that will show us how some variables are related? Good luck. Be sure that in the end you're going to make a claim about two different things. How do the cars move after the collision based on the variable that you changed? And you only get to change one variable. That's that independent variable. Your claim has to be made based on evidence, and that evidence is going to be the data and the graphs that you had from the experiment or the investigation that you did. So have fun, come up with something really cool, turn it into your teacher, even send me a picture or a video of you doing it. I'd love to see it because I like watching everybody like science.